I think my relationship with my everyday carry has changed quite a bit over the past couple of years. Initially, when I got into everyday carry, I thought the whole point was being prepared. But prepared for what? I'm not even really sure. But if there was something that I needed, I wanted to have it with me. And that obviously meant carrying more things, more accessories, more gadgets, more, whatnot. And initially, I kind of enjoyed that. There was something satisfying about, having that peace of mind that, whatever situation that you may get into, you might have something or the other in your pocket to get you out of that situation. But eventually I started noticing something. A lot of things that I was carrying weren't actually being used. I was just carrying them because I thought I might need them. And that's when my approach to EDC started to change. Instead of asking myself what else could I carry, I started asking myself what can I get rid of? Because once you have convinced yourself something is useful or something will be useful, it's kind of difficult to, not carry it around. But eventually I got to a point where I almost carry nothing. And the fun part is that I don't feel any less prepared. So I want to go through the things that I carry inside my pocket because it's been quite a while since I made the last EDC video and a few things have changed. And this is not because the things that I carry around are the things that everyone should carry, but because these things have earned their place. And the first one is probably the easiest, my phone. So this is the Nothing 4A Pro. Now, if you watched my previous everyday carry video, you might notice that I was actually using a different phone. Back then, I was using the Pixel 6a and it was a great phone, but I had to make a switch. Now, the reason why I made a switch, I've already uploaded a video on that, but the funny part is the phone that I switched to after the Pixel 6a was actually not this particular phone. I switched to the Nothing 3A Pro before this. So I've changed pretty much 2 devices since the last year. Now don't get me wrong, the Nothing 3A Pro was a great phone and is a great phone, but I had to make the switch. So Nothing launched the 4A Pro right after I bought the 3A Pro, and looking at the price of the device, it was kind of shocking. So I was getting the 4A Pro for exactly the same price that I got the 3A Pro for. And surprisingly, because of the price hike, the 3A Pro's base price went up. So it was pretty natural for me to, sell that phone and get this in return. I pretty much got this for like a super cheap amount. And I mean, this time, nothing just kicked it out of the park. I mean, if you look at this design, look at the back, it's all metal. It feels cold to the touch. And it feels like a much more premium device than the 3A Pro was. And the main complaint that I had with the 3A Pro was the frame of the device was made out of plastic, which made it really feel cheap. Now, I expect that the device should at least feel a bit premium in hand, even if it's not, say, like the top end specifications. So it was pretty natural for me to gravitate to the 4A Pro, and that is the reason why I switched. And if you want a detailed review about this phone, I've been almost using this for half a year now, and I can make one. Just let me know in the comments below. But yeah, I use my phone like any other person would, making calls, using social media, clicking pictures, listening to music, using Android Auto in my car. That's pretty much like the normal things that I do on my phone. I don't really use my phone that much, and that was the main reason to switch to the Nothing phone, because the whole philosophy of the brand is they want their users to be more present in the world rather than looking at the screen every single time. I feel like it is a great device for the price, and I especially love the design and the software that Nothing makes, and it's really thoughtful and everything feels intentional. And this is probably one of the biggest reasons why my EDC has shrunk down from the last time, is because this thing has also replaced my iPad. So previously I used to carry my iPad along with me, just to do some, productive work. But I felt that I don't really do any kind of productive work when I'm out and about. And when I am doing something productive, I'm usually, just using my camera. But there's still one thing that my phone really hasn't managed to replace, and that is a watch. And this is probably the one thing in my EDC that does not really fit into this whole idea of carrying less, because I actually have quite a few watches, but I only ever wear one at a time. And which one do I wear really depends on the day. So if I'm just going about my everyday life, I usually go for something rugged that I don't have to worry about. If I'm going somewhere a little more formal, I'll wear something dressier. And then I have a few other options that I pick depending on what I'm wearing. So technically I own quite a few watches, but my everyday carry includes only one. And I think that's an important distinction for me, because I'm not trying to own every single one of each. I'm trying to avoid carrying things that I don't really need every day. And a watch is actually a good example of something that my phone could have easily replaced. My phone also does show time, but there's something satisfying about having a wristwatch, twisting your wrist and looking at your wrist to see what the time is. I really like having that. And I don't think every decision has to be justified by, maximum utility. Sometimes you can carry or wear something simply because you just enjoy it. And that is the reason why probably my watch has survived the attempt of, simplifying my everyday carry. But unlike the watch, there's one thing that I carry specifically because it helps me remember things. And that is a pocket notebook. Now, this particular one is from a brand called Rhoda Notes. So these guys are based in South India, if I'm not wrong, and they make amazing stationery. So if you're into planners, pocket notebooks of any sort, these guys make some premium quality books and paper. So if you're a sucker for good stationery, these guys are definitely a place to look at. So these are their pocket size notebooks. They come in a set of 3s and I have quite a bit of them. And you might be wondering, what is the whole point of carrying a pocket notebook? You see, my phone also does the same things as a notebook does. It has a notes app. I can write down thousands of notes. It syncs over all my devices as well. But I really prefer writing something down because, when I type something on a phone, I am usually very superficial about it. I am not really, thoughtful about what I'm typing. I'm just typing because I know I can just check it anytime later. But sometimes what happens is that I forget that I've even noted something down, and that is because I do it very superficially on my phone. A notebook, on the other hand, this gives me that tactile experience of, opening the thing, opening a pen up and writing things down, and this way I remember better. And because there's only a limited amount of space when it comes to pages, I am more selective about what I'm writing down. So that includes usually things that I don't want to forget, some video ideas, some thoughts, and a few other things as well. I think the point of carrying this is that it's not more useful than my phone. It's just that it makes me interact with my thoughts a bit differently. And that's enough of a reason for me to keep carrying this around. And obviously, if I'm carrying a notebook around, there has to be a pen as well. So this is the pen that I carry around with me. Now, this particular pen, I got it from the UK when I was in the UK. I got a set of like 12 of these, so I'm pretty much sorted for another 2 years because these don't run out that easily. And the reason why I chose this particular pen is because it comes with a 0.35 nib. So it's pretty thin and it basically helps me write things down in a smaller handwriting in my pocket size notebook so that, I can make the most use of the pages. This is a black ink pen. I always prefer black ink any time of the day, and it's not something that is really interesting. There are hundreds of pens that are probably technically better than this one, but this one just works fine for me. And that is kind of becoming the entire philosophy around my everyday carry. Something doesn't need to be impressive to deserve a place in my pocket. I just need it to be useful. Which brings me to something else that I've gradually managed to simplify, and that is my wallet. So this is another thing that has changed quite a bit over the past year. So I initially was using a card wallet only, but I've realized that it is kind of necessary to carry cash around as well. So I opted for this very traditional wallet. You open it and then you have different card slots over here. You can put cash up top, and there are a few things in my wallet that I also carry around which are very specific. So recently I've started carrying around this particular thing. So this is basically a box cutter. Did not really purchase this. I recently got a 3D printer and I printed this thing out. So even if it dulls down, I can just print another one. It hardly costs anything. It's a good to have thing. I deal with a lot of packages that come in, and it just makes things easier to opening packages up and folding up the boxes and disposing them off proper way. And another specific thing that I carry around in my pocket is a Type-C to an auxiliary port converter. So sometimes when I'm traveling around, I prefer carrying my IEMs with me, which are my in-ear monitors. So that DAC basically helps me to use my IEMs with my phone. It's a useful thing, and it comes in handy, and it does not really eat up any kind of space because it just fits inside my wallet. It's a very small cable that I got with my Pixel 3. I'm still using the same one, and it just works. And then one final thing that I carry around with me every day is probably the thing that you might have seen before. It's been with me since almost 5 years now, and that is this key organizer by Orbit Key. Now you can clearly see that it has taken a lot of beating because I've been using this pretty much every single day for the last 5 years. But this thing is one heck of a thing because it's so solid and it helps me, organize my keys. I have my two-wheeler keys in this, house keys, and then a few other keys that I use. And it's not something that I carry around because it's particularly exciting. I carry it around because it makes something that I already carry around, less annoying to carry. And I think that's another part of how my EDC has evolved. I'm not trying to find the most interesting version of, everything that I carry around. I'm just trying to find the version that simplifies my life. And that's it. That's pretty much everything. So when I look back at the things that I carry now, it's actually pretty boring. A phone, a watch, a wallet, a notebook, a pen, and my keys. That's it. And if you have showed this to me like a few years ago, I would probably have thought that this is not enough. I would have immediately started thinking about what else could I add to this. Some accessory or some gadget like a power bank or something, or some particular thing because I saw someone else carry it around. But now I look at all these things and think, what else do I actually need? And I don't really have an answer for that. I think that's what has changed for me. So I stopped treating everyday carry as a challenge to see how prepared I am and started treating it like a process of finding things that I genuinely need. I would rather carry things that have already proven themselves useful, things that I actually reach for, things that have actually earned their place. And maybe that's the funny thing about getting older. You start with wanting more options, but eventually you start appreciating having fewer. So no, I don't think I've become a minimalist. I've just gotten better at asking this one question. Does this particular thing actually deserve a place in my pocket? And these things that I've showed you so far have definitely earned it. So that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you liked it. Please share your everyday carry in the comment section below. I'd love to see what everyone carries around. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one, hopefully soon. Bye-bye.